Hey guys, I wanted to come on here because, well, the title probably says it best. The time has come to move on from my job of 6.5 years. And what I mean by that is on Monday, me and my job parted ways. And the reason being is because, well, basically, I made a mistake that I shouldn't have made. And this is God's way of teaching me a lesson and, making me realize that one of the commandments is thou shalt not, you know, steal, if you will. And basically, um, I'm kind of regretting that now. um, I don't want to get too much into details, but basically, let's just say that I've done this on several occasions, and all I did was take like a 12 ounce, bottle of soda or Red Bull or whatever, and I would drink it, take it outside and drink it without paying for it. And, you know, I know some of you might think, well, that shouldn't warrant termination or anything, and that should warrant more of a suspension or a coaching or whatever, and or write up. Well, not necessarily a write up, but a strike, if you will. And in some jobs, you might be right. You might be right. But apparently, that wasn't the case here. And I'll be honest with you guys. I've always felt like something was going to happen. I looked on YouTube, not YouTube, but Google yesterday, and wanted to look up, information about, signs of being fired or how you're going to be fired. And there was a few articles that came up, and one of the articles that I looked at, the first sign that they named off or numbered off was a gut feeling. And I've had a gut feeling for a while that something was up. So did my family. And it was like basically something just didn't seem right. Something was out of the ordinary. And lo and behold, it all came to a head. And as my mom would tell me, she says God has ways of moving you out of a place, getting you out of a place, and moving you on to something else. And I'm sure a lot of our families and parents have told us the same things when we've lost jobs in the past. And maybe it's time for me to now move on. Now, of course, I felt that maybe because this was just, in my opinion, even though it was wrong for me to do, and I'm sure we've all made this kind of mistake in the past. I mean, like the old saying goes, we're all human. We're only human. We make mistakes. We get tempted. We get tempted and comfortable to a point that we don't think we're going to get caught, and then eventually we do. Um, but but again, it's just one of those situations where God just said it's time to move on, and this is the way I'm gonna, help you to move on. This is the way I'm gonna help you to move on. And like I was saying, we fall into temptation. We sometimes get too comfortable where we're at, and we don't think anything's gonna come of it, and yet it does. Um, anyway, though, like I was saying, I tried calling them up. I called them up yesterday, got in contact with an assistant manager, and I tried to ask them to reconsider. I admitted to my mistake, I own up to it, and everything, and they said, "Look, because of what you did, you know, because of our policies, we can't hire you back. We can't take you back." But what's interesting though, and even though I understand and respect that, and I'm grateful for the 6.5 years I've had at this job, and for the friendships that I've made, and the people I got to know, and the opportunities I was given, you know, when when I hear when I hear that I'm not rehireable because of what I did, and I know a lot of companies kind of follow that trope, I honestly don't believe it's forever. I really don't. I believe in my heart that, basically I'm gonna have another opportunity at that company down the line. Because there's there's one thing about a lot of jobs, I should say, there's one thing about a lot of jobs, is every quarter or after every few quarters or year or whatever, they wipe the slate clean. Like whatever records they've had before are gone. They're removed. I know that with this job, it takes maybe more than just a year or so before they wipe the slate of what was done in the past completely clean. I mean, for all I know, I'm 41 right now. For all I know, in the next 5, 6 years, well, I'm 47, and maybe I'm looking for another job down the line. Whether I'm married or I'm not, who knows? And I'm looking for another job, and I want to go back to this one, knowing, hey, this store's still here. There's a good chance I could get rehired because of the fact that after 5 years, any information they've taken down 5 years prior basically gets disregarded. It gets destroyed. It gets, basically put into an archive vault, never to be seen again. But the point I'm getting at is basically, from what they told me, because like I said, I talked to the assistant manager because of what I did. I'm not, because I tried to get them to reconsider, because they know I'm dependable. They know I'm willing to do whatever they ask me to do. But because of what I did, they can't take me back. And, like I said, what's funny about this is I'm still on the schedule. I'm still kind of on the schedule. I mean, yes, they're slowly starting to remove me from the schedule, basically from existence at that store. I mean, even though there have been times where numerous people that used to work there would come in, and all of us, even when I worked there, would be glad to see them, and we would even acknowledge how much we miss having them there. They too end up in a situation to where they can't come back. They can't come back for quite some time, because of what they did or what the company felt they did that warrants this kind of decision. But like I said, when I talked to the assistant, she, look, like I said, I'm grateful for the years I had there and everything, and she just, I could tell in her voice, even though it didn't really sound like it as much, but I could tell in her voice that she was kind of disappointed with what happened, and not just disappointed in me and everything, but I think in a sense, even as an assistant manager, she's disappointed in the company and the fact that they have these kind of policies in place. Now, I did read online that, like I said, there's a chance I could be rehired, but then again, there's that misconduct rule that basically kind of gives them the right to not rehire me ever. But I look at it this way. As I said, I don't think it's going to be forever. I think you give it time, you give it maybe 1 or 2 quarters, which is 3 to 6 months, maybe even 3 quarters, which is 9 months, and maybe even a year, and I guarantee you, I'll be back working with a company like that, if not for that company, for that store. Now, the reason I say that is because I have seen several people leave the company, in the past. Either they've been fired because of maybe disagreements with management, or they just felt like they weren't comfortable. I don't know, and they've been brought back. Now, true, some of them leaving on their own accord allowed them to come back, but some of them being fired and being removed from the store, I know have been brought back in some capacity. And, I've had people tell me that because that what I did was wrong and everything, they do agree with that. But I've had people also tell me that they believe that there are others currently right now, at that store as we speak, that are probably doing a lot worse, that are probably taking, a lot more from the store. They're just not being caught. They're being more secretive about it. They're being more sneaky. They're being more sly. They're working around the system. Well, whether that's true or not, which I don't doubt isn't true, still, what happened happened. And like I've been told, it's God's way of probably getting me out of there, teaching me a lesson at the same time. But, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not be tempted, that, But again, we're all only human. We all make mistakes, and, there's nothing we can do about that. I mean, there have been several people I've worked with that will let go because they made mistakes and they're only human. And a lot of us look at the fact that some of those mistakes may have warranted the release, the firing, their termination, the non-rehiring as of right now. But the thing is, there's a lot of them, and I guarantee you, one of my CSMs, if you will, front end CSMs, two of them, as a matter of fact, if not three, are disappointed. Like I said, not just in me for what I did, but are more disappointed in the store. They're more disappointed in the company because I can already tell you, because I've worked with them for 6.5 years, that in their minds, in their mentality, in their minds, that, something like this warrants more of a suspension or a coaching or a strike, but not termination. And they may not come out and say that, they may not come out and say that, but I know that that's exactly how they feel. And I told myself basically yesterday, after I got off the phone with the assistant manager, I told myself that this is just going to cause a domino effect. I just told myself basically this is going to cause a domino effect. It's going to take time, but during that time, what's going to happen is they're going to lose a lot more people. And it's not just because maybe someone does something wrong or they just can't afford to have the person around or anything. No, they're going to lose a lot more people because these people are going to say, hey, if you're willing to get rid of this person and that person over such trivial things, when we as a company as a whole, across the region, across the state, across the country, probably lose a lot more financially, through a day-to-day basis than that, then how can we trust you with our careers? How can we trust you not to do to us what you did to that person over such trivial little issues? So that's what I told myself, and I firmly believe that. I firmly believe that over time they're going to lose a lot more people. They're going to lose people they felt that they could trust and they could depend on. And the reason they'll lose them is because in their mind, in their heart, they're going to feel, hey, if you're willing to get rid of somebody like this over something so trivial, when in comparison, it's nothing to what we lose on a day-to-day basis across the region, across the state, and across the country, then how can we trust you with our careers? How can we trust you with our jobs, our livelihoods? So even though it'll take time, I've got a feeling they're going to lose a lot more. I mean, I can already see one CSM getting ready to just be done with it. If not two, just be done with it because they don't like what's going on. They don't like the mismanagement and disorganization that's going on. So in the end though, Uh, so in the end, though, guys, basically what I'm getting at is my time at this store has officially come to an end, and I've definitely in my room here shown that it's come to an end because I've taken down my plaque. I've removed any other evidence I've had, or any other evidence I've had of work, if you will. And like I said, like I told my family, I feel like a big burden's been taken off me when you get really down to it. I feel like a big burden's been taken off of my shoulders because even though I'm grateful for the 6.5 years I've had there and people I've made friends with and got to know, even though I'm glad and happy for the 6.5 years I've had, I just feel like a weight has been lifted. It's like now I'm more free. And I mentioned some of the people that got let go before and sometimes were terminated because of, maybe rightful reasons or miscommunication reasons or whatever. And I could tell that they're a little bit more happy. I can see that they're a little bit more free. They feel more relieved. Like, hey, we got the stress off our back. And some of them were carrying it just as long as I have, if not less. And now it is time for a new beginning. And whether or not I get something in between now and the next 3 to 6 months, if not the year, which I will, probably here in town. But if I don't, which is a big if, I truly believe that within 3 to 6 months, they're going to let me come back. They're going to rehire me. They'll probably give me a probationary period like they do everybody else. But they'll probably keep an eye on me more than anyone else. But they'll probably allow me to come back because they know I am dependable. And maybe within 3 to 6 months, things will change. Maybe management might change in some ways, and maybe, the information they got on me will be archived and put into a vault, never to be seen again. And, maybe management will end up with such an overhaul that whoever, let's say, the new regional manager is, they'll come in, they'll see what happened, they'll probably hear what happened, they'll be like, that's ridiculous. Why would you do that to this person when we lose a lot more on a daily basis across the region, across the state? Why would you do that? So I truly believe that, in time, things will change. And I say it's a big if, I don't have something by then, basically, I feel I'm going to get another chance because they're going to need help. They're the kind of company, they're the kind of store that needs help, especially during the holidays. And they know this. They know this very, very well. And I feel that they're going to probably want someone they can depend on. Despite what they've done in the past, they're going to want someone that they can depend on. And there'll be an opportunity just waiting for me and probably for others in the future, because I've seen others come back and after they've been gone for who knows how long. And but as I say in a lot of my videos, it's a wait and see situation, especially on their end, to see what changes internally and externally. But like I said, I told myself yesterday, I feel like a domino effect is going to occur, and that domino effect is going to be people that trusted me, that liked working with me, that depended on me, knew that I was willing to do whatever it took to help out. Over time, the domino effect is going to be them starting to leave the store themselves, and sometimes it'll be on their own accord because, as I mentioned, they'll probably bring up the fact that, hey, if you're willing to get rid of people over something as trivial as, taking a few sodas once in a while or a few snacks once in a while without paying for it, which accumulates to less than what we probably lose on a daily basis, regionally or state-wise or, country-wise or nationwide, if you will, then how do we know you won't do something? How can we trust you basically with our careers? So I think over time, people are going to start leaving on their own accord. They're going to start looking for other jobs. And then when they get that job, they're going to put in their notices and they're going to leave. And if they're asked why they're leaving, they'll tell them the truth. They say, hey, we can't trust you. We can't trust you guys, because if you're willing to get rid of people over such trivial stuff like this, which is which costs us a lot less than what we lose on a daily basis nationwide, if not region-wide and statewide, how can we trust you with our careers? So again, that's what I feel. I have that feeling, and I know it's going to happen over time. I really do. But until I kind of get back into the swing of things of working, guys, I do have a few favors to ask, and that is for you to donate to my Patreon. I'll provide a link down below if you can help me out there. It's about $1 a month. That's what I'm starting out with. It's not much. As well as if you can listen into some of my podcasts, it helps me there financially. I really appreciate it. As well as if you can donate, or not donate, but to subscribe to my other YouTube channel, Brian's Discussions. It's something I started a few months ago, and it's something that, of course, nowadays with YouTube's, new policies and everything, you got to have about 1,000 subscribers. So if you can get the word out for that channel to help me reach 1,000 subscribers, so I can monetize the channel and make a little money off of that, I would really appreciate it. So anyway though, guys, I want to just come on here and kind of let you know what's happening, and just keep me in your prayers, and keep me in your prayers, and pray I get a new job around here in town. If I have to go back down to Patterson and all that and get a job there, or even Turlock or whatever, just keep me in your prayers that something does come up, and before this year's out, I'll be working somewhere. But I just wanted to come on here, give you a bit of a life update as to what's going on. And like I said, it's a big change. A big change has occurred. And again, I would really, really be grateful and appreciative if you can help me out by, like I said, going to my Patreon, donating there, and listening to my podcast at the various podcast locations. I'll provide links to those, as well as subscribe to the Brian's Discussions videos. I'll provide a link to that, and help me get to 1,000 subscribers so I can start to make some money off that channel. So in other words, guys, so in the end, but in closing, I should say, guys, just thought to give you this update, and again, keep me in your prayers while I look for work, and hopefully I'll get something around here before the year is out, and maybe even back in Patterson, who knows. But again, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Links will be provided down below to where you can help me out financially and everything. And I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care. I am out.